Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another brand new episode. E on the mic. This is gonna be episode 4 now. Actually, I haven't been keeping track of how many episodes I got, but this is actually the fourth one right here. Actually, surprisingly, from that relaunch on August 9th. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live show. E on the mic. I have a special guest today. Obviously, you probably saw from the title. He's from Up from Debate. He is the equivalent of Stephen A. Smith on TikTok. Welcome, Vib. What's going on?
What's up? What's up? Super happy to be here. Very excited to be on your show. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, I appreciate that, Viv. It's actually the first time I actually said your name correctly because you corrected me before we got on live here. So I was thinking like, oh, what's going on, Byron? I was like, wait a minute, that's not actually how you say it, and then I'm probably like insulting like probably like 5 people already just from that. But no worries, Viv. What's going on, man? Another Friday night, just talking about sports, man.
Yeah. You're obviously for yourself. It's super fun. Even when the season's not going on, we've got so much stuff to talk about. The great thing is the season's in 2 weeks. I can't wait.
Oh my god. Man, I made a video yesterday just saying like 2 more weeks, man. 2 more weeks of
Two
football.
more weeks. Like,
2
like
more
I'm
weeks
already
until
I'm already counting.
now it's actually 13 days, unless you watch college football. That's tomorrow. But 13 days to the actual NFL action.
I do. Yep.
Bro, someone was actually talking about Nebraska on my page. I was like, yeah, you're all gonna lose. But let's get back to the background story for you, Viv. How'd you get that name, Vib the Viking Fan? Let me ask you that question right there.
That's a good question. I've actually never been asked that question, so this would be a first for me answering. But basically, my name is Vibhov, but at my school, everyone found it, or a lot of people found it hard to pronounce the name Vibhov because it's I guess it's pretty neat. So people just started calling me Vib, and everyone, even some of my teachers started calling me Vib. So it's just something that I stuck with, kind of just carried with me throughout. And then I'm like, I really like watching sports, and I really like talking about it, and I really like understanding a lot of different things about it. So I was talking to my friends, and they were like, "Oh, why don't you start a YouTube channel or some platform where you can talk about sports?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Why don't I do that? And I can do that on TikTok where I can get a lot of where I can attract a lot of views, a good audience for me to talk about things, and I don't have to spend as much time on it, and I can produce quality content in short amounts of time." I needed a name, and initially I was gonna go with Stefan Vibes, but I wanted to make mine a legit page. And so I thought it would have to be Vib the something fan, or something with Vib in it. So I thought Vib the Vikes Fan would be a good name.
Yeah, especially with your love of Vikings a lot. What's
Yeah,
funny?
I'm from Minnesota, so all things Minnesota sports over here, except for baseball. I don't watch baseball.
Throwing the baseball team under the bus, and don't worry, I'm the same thing. I throw my baseball team under the bus unless they're doing good. Surprisingly, like last season, the Marlins. I
From
get
what
you.
people have told me, the Twins are terrible now. So
Hey, at least you got a somewhat better team than the Marlins. I'll give you that, man. So we actually got a little bit of background story there too with Vid there. Like I know from how I got my name, E on the mic actually was from because before I used to have a show called Ethan and Mike, Viv. I used to have a co-host that was named Michael, had me and him. Then we kind of split up, and then I was kind of figuring out a name and a nickname because I never had a nickname in my life before. One of the podcasters just told me, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" E is like, "Yo, this is actually can be a name actually," because I never had a nickname before in my life, man. It was like, "Yo, this guy actually could stick here." E, let's do it. I never had a nickname in my life. No one, everyone just called me Ethan. What's going on, Ethan? What's going on? Other than that, but I never had a nickname. I was like, you know what? Let's stick with that. Let's stick with E. We're gonna make that interesting. E on the mic that talks about Finns and anything else with football and basketball related.
yeah, well, that's a good name. That's a good name. I like where it came from.
Exactly. Now let's get to the true meaning of why this episode is really made. Let's talk about your man Kawhi Leonard. Even though I was kind of talking about you not mentioning Skip Bayless in your name in there before, but we're gonna keep it as Stephen A. Smith. Let's put it out for real. Now Kawhi re-signed with the Clippers, man. He's injured though. He might not play for this season, probably near the playoffs. But does Kawhi ever win a championship for the Clippers? I know you're really high on Kawhi Leonard, that the Clippers should have went to the NBA Finals. They should have been the Suns. Let me hear your take on Kawhi. Will he ever win the chip for the Clippers?
If they can keep their pieces, absolutely, I can see it. Because like they're probably on paper, they're probably the second best team in the West behind the Lakers, and I think they're probably better than every team in the East except for the Nets.
Right.
And I think like if they can keep their key pieces along with Kawhi and Paul George, if they can keep guys like Reggie Jackson, Nick Batum, and if they can have Marcus Morris like kind of play a limited role because like he can be a good 3-point shooter at times or like a just good a shooter in general when you need him to be. Um, Luke Kennard around, he's a very good 3-point shooter. Like I think the key for them is just keeping their pieces.
I I agree with you. Actually, I actually agree. I mean, they have a chance to make it on paper, like you said. On paper, it looks good, and especially during the playoffs without Kawhi Leonard, especially that Utah Jazz series and a bit of the Suns series, where it was like they looked like if they had won a couple of games, especially game one, especially in the Phoenix, where it was like this tight close. Especially it took like a half hour to finish, 1.5 minute left in that game alone. They could have made it to the championship, and no one had to hear that they only made it to the Western Conference Finals because they're usually like the basement under the Lakers right now, especially with the Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers right there, especially with Paul George, where everyone keeps nicknaming him PG 13, or as they call him PJ Playoff downwards time for PG, but
Pandemic P.
Playoff P, Pandemic P. Sometimes you can be Playoff P, and the next thing you know, it's Pandemic P. You just never know which
Yeah.
side you'll get from Pandemic P. That's all I'll say. But I mean, the Clippers have a chance. It's gonna be a tough Western Conference. You're gonna have LeBron James coming back next season, healthy and strong as ever. Utah Jazz could be there in the mix. Phoenix Suns still got a lot of good teams there. Gonna try to compete there, but the Clippers can try to get right back to where they were, the Western Conference Final, and make it to the championship, which probably surprised a lot of people. Because I remember one time I was like, no, let's hope the Clippers don't make it. I swear to God, if the Clippers
I
make
think
it, they
that
would have,
the
they would
yeah,
have
I
won it.
think
They
that
would
the
have won it.
Clippers, if they were to improve their roster in any way, maybe get a rim protecting center.
True, true. Because I saw the struggles they had at the center, especially when they had a face off against Aiden and against the Phoenix Suns. Aiden was really locking down those centers, just dominating.
He was destroying them because they could afford to play small ball because Gobert like doesn't do nearly anything offensively except for just standing. I mean, even then, he wasn't even standing in the paint properly like half the time.
Right.
Rudy Gobert. And then like Kristaps Porzingis just stood out on the perimeter every time, so they could afford to play small ball.
No, I agree. Especially
I get
they really killed Gobert right there. Just coming off of the paint, they shoot a three, just drive on him, and then gets two easy buckets for them. The Clippers really, and I was shocked with the Jazz. They couldn't win that, but Rudy was the kryptonite for the Jazz, and that's why the
yeah.
Jazz are always talked down a
Yeah,
lot.
they're I think that the Clippers, like if anything, the thing that killed them was rim protection. I don't think that would have been as big of a problem with if Kawhi was there, but like I mean, even then, if they added a rim protector, that defense would be like you could compare that defense to the 2019 Raptors.
I would actually agree with you there a lot. Actually, that especially since Kawhi Leonard had success with the Raptors and then going to the Clippers right there, and they had a chance to make it to the championship right there, face off Milwaukee. That could have been a great series right there, especially facing off at Giannis, who could have may or may not at that point in time wasn't going to make it, but he did make it to game one for sure. But let's talk about your Timberwolves. I know how much you're a Timberwolves fan there. I know you got Patrick Beverly. I know I heard a couple days ago you were talking about Patrick Beverly, the new addition to Patrick Beverly. Talk about some of the new additions to the Timberwolves right there, Vib. There we go. There's the mess up there.
It's
Everyone's
all
going.
good. It's all good. I mean, initially I wasn't like too happy about the Patrick Beverly trade, but then again, then I realized that we what we need is depth. Like we need like that scrappy veteran point guard who can play defense and shoot threes when you need him to and score when you need him to. And Patrick Beverly is that guy.
Nah,
We don't we don't need him to start. We can have Russell start, play Beasley at the two, play Ant at the three,
Cat.
Jaden McDaniels at the four, and Cat at the five, and have Patrick Beverly come off the bench. But I mean, the biggest thing that we need is defense, and I guess Patrick Beverly does provide that, even though he is annoying and he is a pest.
That is true. He becomes a really good pest, and will try to. especially with KD that one time with KD trying to
Oh
mess
my god.
playing
I
with
wouldn't be
KD's.
surprised. I would not be surprised if like we became the most hated team in the NBA because of Patrick Beverly.
Basically from Patrick Beverly, yes, that could happen. That really happened. And he's only signed for 1 year, and especially great, good depth for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now that would be a great question. Can the Minnesota Timberwolves actually make it to the playoffs? That's gonna be the main key. They'll try to get to the play-in tournament. Hopefully, they get up there.
If we're healthy, I think we could be at least a play-in team because like the thing about it is like we had like one of the highest offensive ratings when everyone was healthy. Cat averaged his highest assist numbers as well. The most underrated part of Cat's game is his playmaking and his passing. It's just like when D'Lo was out, like everyone else, like Rubio would like miss wide open shots and layups and stuff, and like same thing with other guys who just could not score.
Yes, which you actually did trade away Rubio to get Prince from the Cavaliers.
Yeah, we
It's a new
got
addition.
Tarian Prince and some cash, which actually helped out very nicely with our cap situation.
Which that will be a great addition for you, especially the Timberwolves right there. I'm telling you that right now, by Vib. There we go. Second time in the episode. I'm already counting how many times I'm gonna mess that up.
The only thing is the Western Conference is way too competitive. Like we already
That's true.
have like oh now we have the Warriors with Klay Thompson. They're gonna be the playoff team. I don't think they'll do as good as like some people are saying. Oh, they'll be like a top three seed. I don't see them being a top three seed, but I see them being a playoff team.
That's true. I'll agree with that 100%. But now let's fix it up to the NFL. Let me talk about your Vikings, Viv. Let's talk about what is your outlook on your Vikings this year? Where are you seeing them going this year?
I think we look really, really good on both sides of the ball. We already look great on offense, but then we added Christian Darrisaw and Wyatt Davis in the draft to bolster that offensive line, which was one of the worst in the league last year. Then on defense, we're getting Daniil Hunter, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr, and Michael Pierce all back from injury slash opt out. Then we also went out and added Dalvin Tomlinson. We got Sheldon Richardson and Everson Griffin back, and Stephen Weatherly, who all left our team after 2018 and 2019. We brought back Mackenzie Alexander, who's probably one of the better nickel cornerbacks in the league, other than like maybe Jonathan Jones and Jimmy Smith, probably. And we also went out and got Patrick Peterson, who's a good veteran leader.
Great
Bashad
signing.
Breeland, who's pretty good. He's like a good ball hawk and he'll play well in zone coverage. Um, we got Xavier Woods. I don't really like Xavier Woods, but I think that maybe some of his bad play was due to being on probably the worst defense in football last year. So I think a change of scenery might do him good. And we also still have Harrison Smith, Cam Dantzler, and a few other guys who are all good. So I think on both sides of the ball we look good. The question is, and the question has always been, can we put it together? And so far the regular season results have been yes, until it comes to playing like very, very elite teams. Like we can maybe take like a game off the Packers and maybe beat like one or two NFC West teams. Our schedule this year is brutal. We play the AFC North and NFC West.
Ugh, yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's legit brutal. Especially, and will be a good thing is if you can beat those teams, especially NFC West, then you have a shot at least getting to the playoffs. If you can beat the NFC West,
I
especially the
don't
NFC
think
West.
playoffs has been a problem, but as a Vikings fan, we've been like this for so many years now. We're competitive. We're not like we're just competitive. We're not like a Super Bowl winning team.
No,
We may have been in 2017, but then we got like blown out by the Eagles. We're competitive. We want to be. I want to be more than competitive, and until we put it together, whatever it is that's preventing us from beating these really good teams, then we won't be anything more than competitive. I think we'll make the playoffs, but we'll be like the sixth seed.
yeah. I mean, for me, I see you guys as a 7 seed, especially how tough the NFC side is, especially the NFC West for the
Yeah, the NFC
Vikings.
West, like three teams from
It's
that division are going to make the
they're
playoffs.
gonna make it the playoffs, and one of them is probably going to be out of there with a good record.
Yeah,
That's going to be the sad part, especially for the NFC West. And then when I look at the Vikings, I look at them at a 10-7 team as well. They can have that team, especially they can upset some teams there, especially the AFC North. They can upset some teams there, and the NFC West. They have a shot. They have Cousins for a reason. Now, of course, can Cousins stay healthy and not get COVID? That's a good question. And then you still have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and whoever's going to be a third wide receiver there. Either there's going to be CD there, Westbrook. My bad, Westbrook there, DD Westbrook, whoever's gonna be the third there. You got Dalvin Cook, who's a great coming out of the catch and the run game. Could even be top 3 in the running backs. Who knows? But as of right now, I can see them going 10-7. Now your main question is, can they reach the Super Bowl? That will actually make your day. Actually, that will
Yeah,
be.
if
I
we
don't
get
think it's
to
gonna
the
be
Super
this
Bowl,
year,
I'd be so
but
happy.
I don't think it's gonna be this year just because of Cousins. I mean, I don't know how long Cousins is gonna stay for the Vikings. Cousins can take you as far as the playoffs, but going to the Super Bowl is gonna be the main question for Cousins, because can he make it to the promised land where you guys have been looking for a long time now?
Yeah, we have been looking there for a long time, and we've had like a ton of great teams throughout the years, and just have never been able to get there.
I just remember that one score, especially Atlanta against the Vikings. That one kicker that was perfect all day, all year. That's
Gary
what reminds
Anderson.
me. Yes, that's the guy I remember. I remember you guys had a great shot to make the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
we've like throughout the years we've had like so many opportunities to, we had that. Then in 2009 we had Brett Favre. He could have like tucked it and run, but instead he threw a crossbody
Oh
pick
my
to
god,
Tracy Porter.
I
And
don't know
then
what the
like
hell
we
is
had the
happening.
Blair Wall shank in 2015. And then like before that we had a Herschel Walker trade, which we gave up like our entire future for a running back who had like one good season with us. And the Cowboys got 3 Super Bowls out of it.
And the Vikings literally granted a Cowboys dynasty from that, just
Yeah,
from that.
yeah, we gave them the dynasty.
My God, I can see where the Cowboys hatred come from. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
a little bit of that.
I think most of us just don't like their fans.
No, no. Obviously, they're delusional. They always think they're going to the Super Bowl every year with that type of team like that. Especially their defense is horrendous. I mean, their offense could take them there. It's just defense ain't gonna go that far with that.
Yep, and they think that Zeke is top 5.
Mm, okay, okay, okay. I see that. I see that. Speaking of top 5 running backs, here's a question from one of my followers. Actually, shouts out to King. There is Dalvin Cook a top 3 running back according to you?
Absolutely, but he's number 3 in my eyes. I have 1 Derrick Henry, 2 Christian McCaffrey, and 3 Dalvin Cook.
All right, all right. Yeah, I have the similar right there. I have Henry number 1, CMC at 2, and Dalvin Cook at 3. That was kind of like either or with Cook and Kamara, especially they're really close to each other. But I feel Cook will get the edge at top 3 at the
I
end of the
think that
season.
Chubb is 4 and Kamara. I think Saquon and Kamara are interchangeable for 5 and 6. If you prefer durability, then you would probably have Kamara 5 and Saquon 6.
Yeah, I would say something like that, especially with the durability, especially from the run and the catch, mostly for me, honestly. But let's get right into one of my favorite little selection. This is probably the first time this is for you here. Vice selection. So what is vice selection, Vib? This is where we take two teams that we're gonna select on who's gonna win today on this weekend per se. Let's talk first about your Vikings matchup. Who's gonna win that matchup there for tonight's preseason game? Especially it's very crucial. Especially a lot of players are trying to win out there. Especially when I was talking about Westbrook. Talk about the Westbrook, that number 3, who can be that guy that'll draw away from Jefferson and Adam Thielen away. Who do you really see who wins that game for your matchup?
Um, like I guess
Which I know is preseason game. It don't matter anyways, but
that's tough. Are you asking like which player do I see benefiting the most from it, or like which team?
which players benefiting most from it from tonight and who wins it?
For sure, Wyatt Davis, I think, because he's a 3rd-round offensive lineman who we want to be a day 1 starter.
Right.
We want him to be a day 1 starter because Dakota Dozier was awful last year at guard. Like words can't describe how awful he was. Like he was, I think he was the worst guard in the entire NFL.
Wow. Do you see the matchup for the third wide receiver really a factor there into you for today or not really?
A little bit. I mean, it really, really depends on just like, who's a reliable target, like who's either very fast and can make a play like after the catch, or like has like great hands and like you can fit it into them in tight coverage and they'll catch it.
Right.
I think
Right.
it comes down to that. So I see like a battle between like, D.D. Westbrook, Chad Beebe, and maybe Amir Smith Marset.
Which I think those are going to be the main keys, especially when you guys are playing against Kansas City tonight at 8 o'clock on NFL Network, actually. So,
Yep.
who you got there winning today, though? If you had to say, I know
I
it's
mean,
preseason.
if
I
we
know, I
start
know it's preseason.
if we start Jake Browning, then definitely them. Jake Browning has been awful.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Especially the past 2 seasons. I know the past two games I've been hearing like backlash against you guys for the Vikings. Like, oh my gosh, you let Drew Lock beat you guys 43-8. Oh my god, you
Yeah, I
guys are
mean,
trash. I was like,
I mean,
stop
they
the
played their starters, and we played our third strings.
man. I heard that so many times. Like, they didn't even have their starting defense there, or not even their starting offense. Really, they had Drew Lock. Seeing they were hoping Drew Lock was going to be the quarterback, when instead it's Teddy Bridgewater. So
Yeah, it's Teddy
but then
Bridgewater.
again, as the Broncos hype, they want to win something at least because they didn't get no Aaron Rodgers coming their way this year. So they're just trying to get something, a victory there for the Broncos. I swear to God. But I'll tell you this. I'll just go with the Chiefs because, like I said, Jake Browning was horrendous.
Yeah, he's
As
been
anything.
horrendous so far in preseason.
Obviously, I think Kellen
Like
Mond will
I don't know
definitely
why we just won't start Kellen Mond. I want to start Kellen Mond for an entire game. I like Kellen Mond.
I would actually rather see Kellen Mond, especially can he be that fourth round that maybe eventually replaces Cousins, or you have to get to another quarterback in next year's draft. Which
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see Kellen Mond's decision making. So far, it hasn't been bad, but like I mean, I want to see him like make plays. You know what I'm saying?
make plays in the beginning of the game because that's where it mostly really matters. But once it starts getting to like the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, it really is like, I mean, there's like third strings, bubble players. They may make it, they may not. Those are the type of players that will be there. So I will actually rather want to see Kellen Mond in there. But I will say Chiefs because I don't think the Vikings will win it. But they could win the regular season. That's what it matters. Trust me. Anybody that wins undefeated in the preseason ends up going 0-17. And that's a true fact by the Lions and the Browns. Don't believe me? Look it up. Look it up if you don't believe
Lions
me there.
go. Did the Lions go 0-4 in the preseason too? I know the Browns did.
The Lions did go 4-0 in the preseason,
Wow.
and then they go 0-16 the
Yeah,
rest
0-16.
of the way.
It's a
And that was in
curse.
2008. That was in 2008.
It must be a curse.
That's a curse, especially when you have. If I'm not mistaken, Calvin Johnson was on that team. If I'm not mistaken, no way. If I'm not mistaken,
The 0-16 team. Yeah,
the 0
he
and 8
probably was because the year after that they drafted
Matthew
Matthew
Stafford.
Stafford.
That was a sweepstakes for them. I'll tell you that much. That was a must read. And then of course, for my little vice selection, Miami and the Bengals, the little rivalry right there, especially last season for Miami and the Bengals. There, I'm just gonna go with Miami to win that. Although no Tua finally, and yes, I don't have to hear Tua turn Lilova anymore.
Tua turned the ball over.
I heard that so many times, especially after he threw that interception against the Bears. Oh my god!
Oh my
And I think Bears
god.
fans were having a fun time with that. But don't worry, Justin Fields got rocked the next
Everyone
week.
has a fun time of hating on,
Oh,
even
don't
though
worry.
he's like really he's unproven. He's not a bad game manager. I just wish he was more aggressive. I wish he was like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No,
Like
I agree with you. That's what I kind of started seeing more. He's starting to get a little more aggressive. Is when I started seeing progressing throughout the preseason. He's starting to get a little bit more aggressive than what everyone's been talking about. Especially he needs to be aggressive, like Fitzpatrick, throw in the tight spaces
yeah,
like
he
that.
needs to like give his receiver because like if he gives, for example, like if he gives Mike Gesicki like a chance to make a play, like there's like a pretty high chance that Mike Gesicki actually has like a chance to make a play for like a big play downfield rather than just check it down to someone and like see if you can get yards after catch.
Yeah, which I actually saw. I saw that in the last game against the Falcons, where Mike Gesicki gets a great play out downfield. Especially, he might be in consideration being one of those top five tight ends if he's not there already by now. Especially,
I have him at 6,
you have him six.
so pretty close.
It's close there, but he could be a top five near the end of the season, depending how well he does, and especially how many if he doesn't get injured. That's all I'll say
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Gesicki. But yeah, man, let us get to the final message, man. So this is my last question for you, Vib, before we head off here. What's any advice that anybody that's making TikTok or YouTube, any advice would you give them if they're struggling to make one, or they're just starting out, or they're just there as of right now? What would be your advice for anybody?
Never give up. Never give up. You will get frustrated. I promise you. Everyone out there, please listen to me. Never give up. You will get frustrated. There will be times where you will feel like, dang, my videos aren't doing good. I'm not doing a good job. Or other people doing or like having like, oh, I don't know, a million views on a video and be like, oh my god, why can't I have a million views on a similar type of video? It's okay. Okay. Everyone starts at a certain time. Just assure yourself, just keep trying at it and be persistent with it. Like I noticed like I started doing better once I started making like 8 to 10 videos a day. like 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 if there's one piece of advice, just be persistent and never give up. Never give up. Because no matter what you're doing, you can do it. You can get where you want to get. Just be persistent. There's nothing you can't do if you don't put your mind to it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Amen to that. That's actually how I start getting a little bit out there now. It's like getting the 4 to 5 posts at least, just getting myself active there. And there'd be times I'd be frustrated. At times I'm like, man, see everyone up there, and I'm just here like,
The first video I saw was your NFC North slander video.
I heard about that. I saw that. I was like, someone tagged you in it. Yeah, because I was making fun of Detroit. I just remember just myself just
Oh
laying
yeah,
there.
you were like Lions fans waking up to see the Super Bowl, Packers fans when you don't call them Title Town, Bears fans on their way to ruin another quarterback, Vikings fans when you don't say Kirk Cousins is top 10.
I got recommended. Someone recommended me say that the top 10, Kirk Cousins is not top 10. There was actually people being heated with that in the comments.
Oh my god.
And then I started seeing you do it. I was like, huh, I wonder where you got that idea from. I started you doing it at the same time. Hey, but listen, listen, I was doing with a Bill Belichick one with a credit card, especially when he sees a white
Wide receiver.
white person in the supermarket. Listen, where are you getting them at? Oh man, but I really do appreciate you, Viv, for coming on, man. I really do taking your time for talking to me there, man. It was a great honor for you having me there. Especially, I always love your videos there. You're always informational. You always get on everybody's case, especially somebody saying, "I wish this man was banned." Like, oh, you're talking about the band? You talking about the band, the orchestra? Like, trust me, there'll be a lot of lovers and there'll be a lot of haters. But I always love your content, man. You keep up the great work, man. I really do
Appreciate that,
you
man.
coming on
You
the line.
too. You too.
But I appreciate
Thanks for having
appreciate
me
you.
on.
Thank you for so much, man. Appreciate you guys checking out this episode featuring Viv here. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode on the week before NFL. Till then, see you then.